Hey, Nene, this your mom. I was just calling checking on you. I hadn't talked to you late in a while. Talk to you later. Love y'all. Bye.
My name is Tamara Litch, maiden name Tamara Thompson.
My name is Tanya Acock.
I am Tiara Strickland.
Well, I'm Timothy Thompson, and Carolyn Thompson.
And Carolyn is.
And Carolyn Thompson.
And Carolyn is my mother, or was my mother. Mom was born November 10th, 1952.
As far as, hearing about her growing up, said she was always pretty good. Good daughter, good sister, just kind of how she turned out to be as an adult. So.
When did your mother and father meet?
From my understanding, they met in high school. I used to think it was the 9th grade. I guess it's 10th grade when my dad came down from up north. So, yeah, that's when they met. And from my understanding, they were boyfriend and girlfriend not too long after that, and ended up going, 50-something years later all together. So.
That's my next question. When did they get married?
April 3rd, 1973. Yeah.
April 3rd,
1973.
How many kids did your parents have?
There's 4 of us, 3 girls and 1 boy. Of course, I'm gonna say she was the best mom. I don't remember ever getting a spanking by her. I don't remember. I probably did, but I don't remember. But her talks, when you got in trouble, when she talked to you, that was worse than a spanking, because she doesn't raise her voice. But when she was stern, she was stern. I just kind of remember her being like the best mom. Made sure we went to church, made sure we got to school, got up for school. She was one of those type of moms that cooked a lot. She cooked breakfast, she cooked dinner, so she was like the traditional mom.
I feel like it was like a normal grandmother-granddaughter relationship,
She really cared for us and stuff, take care of us. She wasn't real strict growing up, but she was just one of them people that she looked out for everybody.
Yeah.
Grandma had a good heart.
I'm just thinking back to when I was in college and when she would call randomly, just check on me and or leave me a voicemail, and it was just so nice to just always know that she was there no matter how far away I went or just wherever I was or whatever I was going through. I just knew she was gonna be there, and she was gonna love me. She was gonna, regardless of whatever it was.
When it came to her faith, how would you say that influenced you in your life?
It influenced me a lot, just to realize nothing is possible. If you don't have God, if you got God, she always said anything is possible.
Since you, out of everybody I've interviewed, of course I've known her the longest, would you say that she was a woman who always believed in Jesus, or did she, as time went on, decided to believe in Jesus?
She always believed in Jesus.
Always believed.
When nobody else didn't bring him up, she brought him up. And she truly loved him and believed him. Yeah. And she trusted him. I trust her. All I trust was in Jesus Christ. So, yeah, I learned from her.
2020, we were going through the most unprecedented times ever. And I don't think we knew it just yet starting the new year. We didn't know what was really about to happen to us.
Honestly, 2020 is a year I wish I could forget completely, to be honest with you. But if you weren't in your faith before then, you definitely had to be after.
Of course, things were getting a little crazy due to the COVID.
I had came up here that Saturday or Sunday before she got sick. She said she wasn't feeling well. She thought it was just something, it would go, it would pass, she'd be fine.
Moving forward, when she got sick, she went and she was down for a couple of days. And when she did get up, it was right over here. She came and she fell. 'Cause that table was right there. And she fell right by between the table and that door. And she said she was going to get her something to drink because, of course, she wasn't going to ask nothing. So she was going to said, I finally feel a little better. Let me get up and try to eat me something, get me something to drink. And that's when she hit the floor. And we called the EMS. Of course, she was still talking and stuff, but she was just like, she just felt bad. She felt winded.
First, she thought it was a little cold, but when she didn't get over it, went to the hospital. They was like it was pneumonia in one lung, just a little bit in one lung. So they said 3 days later she got full-blown pneumonia. And then next is COVID.
First time I was really bothered or started kind of thinking something might be wrong is when they said they was putting on a ventilator. And that's when I was like, okay, this is not a typical thing.
So it went from one lung to her having supposedly starting physical therapy. I'm like, how is she doing that? Like, how is she up walking and stuff when she had pneumonia in her lungs? She's not supposed to be up and moving. I'm going to try to get him a little bit of credit. I don't think anyone knew how to treat this. And they were just all over the place.
They told us, they said, you guys can come see her. And then once, you guys spend some time with her, we'll go ahead and take her off everything. Honestly, I was believing that, once they took her off everything, she was going to miraculously start breathing on her own. It wasn't even 2 hours before we got home. Rob calling Houston to tell him Mom had passed. He was like, your mom just passed. And I was like, that quick. I remember that was my response. I was like, that was that quick. And I just, broke from there.
What was that thought process for you to say that quick?
Because I really thought, honestly, when they took her off everything, I thought she was going to fight for a while. I thought we at least had, if God wasn't going to heal her, we at least had another day. But I promise you, I really thought, I had so much faith that he was going to bring her back. I was like, because that's Mom.
What would you say this did to your faith?
Temporarily, it broke it. And I'm going to be honest. Temporarily, I was like, what's the point in praying? And I didn't stop believing in God, but I felt like if God already had a plan, what's the point in us praying for something different to happen? That was my thought process. So temporarily, I limited God. If I really think about it, even though you can't put limits on him, in my mind, I had limited him. Oh, there's no reason for me to pray for certain things because he, whatever his will is going to be done, which is true. Yeah. But that don't mean you stop praying.
Right. What would you say?
One thing I remember that made me say, I need to grow with God to see her again. Grandma didn't want to go on the ventilator. She said if it's her time to go, let her go peacefully. She was 1,000% sure she knew where she was going. Heaven. Well, if my grandmother was 1,000% sure that she knew where she was going regardless of what's happening in life, I need to be 1,000% sure that I'm going there too so I can see her again.
I'm just grateful that God blessed me to be the granddaughter of a woman who was so bold in her faith. She taught us all the same.
Hey, Grandma.
Hey, Mike.
She truly exemplified Proverbs 22:6.